It was just a parking spot. At least that's what the Black Navy SEAL thought. But to the racist couple eyeing him from across the lot, it was something more. Their glares turned into words, and words turned into something much worse. They had no idea who they were messing with, but they were about to find out. Because 7 minutes later, the situation took a shocking turn, one they would regret for the rest of their lives. He had seen combat in some of the world's most dangerous places, but nothing could have prepared him for the battle he was about to face in a simple parking lot. The Black Navy SEAL had just returned home, a rare moment of peace after years of service. Dressed in casual clothes, he looked like any other man running errands, not someone who had dedicated his life to protecting his country. As he pulled into the last open parking space, he barely noticed the luxury SUV idling nearby, but the couple inside did. Their expressions twisted with anger, as if the spot belonged to them by birthright. At first it was just a stare, then a honk, then doors slammed. He took a deep breath, sensing trouble. He had no idea that within minutes, their entitlement would turn to rage, and their rage would lead to a decision they'd regret forever. The moment the Navy SEAL stepped out of his car, the couple was on him. The man, tall and red-faced, stormed toward him, jabbing a finger in his direction. "That was our spot," he snapped, his voice dripping with entitlement. His wife scoffed beside him, arms crossed. "Figures," she muttered under her breath. The SEAL remained calm. Years of discipline had taught him restraint, but he could feel the heat rising in his chest. "Parking's first come, first served," he replied evenly, turning to walk away. But they weren't done. The man blocked his path. "You people think you can just take whatever you want," he spat. The SEAL's jaw tightened, a familiar feeling. He had risked his life for this country, yet here he was, disrespected in his own homeland, over a parking space, a shove. Sudden, forceful. The SEAL barely moved, his stance solid as a rock. A small crowd had started gathering. The woman pulled out her phone, smirking. "Let's see how tough you are when the cops get here," she sneered. But then the man did something he would deeply regret. He swung, a reckless punch, full of anger, but no precision. And in that moment, everything changed. The punch never landed. In a flash, the Navy SEAL shifted, his instincts kicking in like second nature. He sidestepped effortlessly, sending the man stumbling forward. Before the attacker could regain his footing, the SEAL gripped his wrist and, with a swift motion, twisted it behind his back. A sharp yelp of pain followed as the man dropped to his knees. Gasps rippled through the small crowd. The woman shrieked, her phone still recording. "Let him go!" she screamed, rushing forward, only to stop dead in her tracks when the SEAL's piercing gaze locked onto her. There was no rage in his expression, just a cold, controlled dominance that sent a chill down her spine. The man writhed, cursing, but the SEAL held firm. "I could have hurt you," he said calmly, his voice steady. "But I didn't. You should be grateful for that." Sirens wailed in the distance. The woman's confidence cracked. "You're going to jail for this," she spat, but her voice wavered. The SEAL didn't even flinch. He simply let go and stepped back, watching as the man collapsed onto the pavement. The fight was over, but the real reckoning was just beginning. The police arrived, stepping out of their squad cars, eyes scanning the scene. The woman rushed, to them pointing at the Navy SEAL. "He attacked my husband," she shrieked. But the officers weren't buying it. They had already seen the bystanders' recordings. They had already heard the whispers in the crowd. One officer approached the SEAL. "Sir," he said, his tone respectful, "we saw the footage. You're free to go." The racist couple, however, wasn't so lucky. The man clutched his wrist, his arrogance now replaced with fear. The woman's face twisted in disbelief. "This isn't fair," she protested, but for once fairness wasn't on their side. As the SEAL walked away, the weight of the moment settled in. This wasn't the first time he had faced this kind of ignorance. It wouldn't be the last. But this time justice had been served, not because of his strength, but because the truth had been undeniable. And yet, one question lingered. What if there hadn't been witnesses? What if there hadn't been cameras? How many others had suffered in silence with no proof to fight back? Because in a world where racism still thrives in the shadows, one thing is clear: not everyone gets the chance to prove their innocence.